next thing I'm going to be talking about is who qualifies as a dependent for a self-sponsorship route, because we've talked about this route allows one to bring their dependent, but again, it must fall within the dependency route. What are the qualifications for it? Yeah. So, and I'm going to go through that. So it's quite clear in people's mind, because not everybody will qualify as a dependent. And I would just like you at the end of this evening, when you go away, it will be quite clear in your mind whether somebody can qualify that. This is a route that's quite popular with people who have been affected in one way or the other. For those who just joined now, we are talking about those who found themselves in circumstances that are a little bit unfortunate. Perhaps their employer is not providing them with work. They found themselves in what are known as sham employment. They are employed, but they're not really remitting their taxes properly. They're not getting shifts, and in breach of their terms. And as I said earlier, this would impact on their indefinite leave to remain application. Now, as I am back to what I discussed earlier, who qualifies as a dependent is quite important to be noted, and I'll just summarize in a couple of pointers so that things to bear in mind. One, somebody who's applying at this route must be either married, a married partner, or a civil partner. However, unmarried partner also qualifies, but they must have lived together in a relationship akin to marriage for a minimum of 2 years, which is completed immediately 2 years prior to the application date. So it must be immediately 2 years prior to the application date. Quite admittedly, there could be some exceptions, perhaps where one of the parties is living separately from the other one for work reasons, or commitments, or carrying responsibilities. Yeah, but however, those ones will have to be explained in detail. There is a guidance which has been provided, which kind of illustrate how these requirements can be met. Also, a dependent can be a child who's under 18. A child under 18 qualifies as a dependent, but also a child over 18 if they are still dependent on the applicant in certain situation. So then I go to then how do they qualify? What are those exceptions that a child who is over that age would still be classed as being dependent? Yeah. So if a child is over 16, they must demonstrate that they're not leading an independent life. And the indicators of whether somebody is living an independent life. For example, they're not living, they're living separated from the skilled worker. So they actually establish their own house or home. They could be married or in a civil partnership. Yeah. If a child is over 18, at the time that they are eligible for an extension, if they already had it, then this will not impact on any application for extension. So because they'll be considered as already being part of it. And also it's important that the child's other parent must be applying at the same time. People make a mistake of not making sure this is done. The child's other parent must be applying at the same time, or already have permission to remain in the UK on another route, but not as a visitor. There are exceptions to that.